Hi, I'm Josh, and there's a lot of music in this world that I haven't listened to. I've listened to a lot of songs from a lot of artists, but I don't know all the deep cuts. The songs that are buried into albums that aren't the popular ones. The only way to discover these songs is by listening to artists that you wouldn't normally listen to. And so I'm going to listen to artists that I don't normally listen to, and I'm going to listen to their entire discography. So to start things off, I'm going to listen to the entirety of Michael Jackson's discography. I'm going to leave out the Jackson 5 because that's not a part of his solo career, and I'm only focused on his solo career at the moment. So to kick things off, we're going to start with the album that started his solo career as a musical artist, 1972's Got to Be There. So let's start listening. Got to Be There. All right, so I've listened to this album a few times now, and let me tell you, my initial thoughts, so good. It is so much fun. Like, it doesn't quit just being a groovy, just youthful, like, dreamscape. That, like, this whole album is just a blast, front to back. Like, I know it was recorded in the disco era, but that does not stop it from just being pure good. So I'll do a little rundown through each song, just kind of give you my thoughts on what I thought. My thoughts on what I thought. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. That makes sense. All right, Ain't No Sunshine, a song that was a song that was written and recorded by Bill Withers originally. So this is a cover song. If you haven't heard it, I'm sure you have. I mean, it's been in things. It's been in movies, TV shows. You've probably heard it. Just take my word for it. You've probably heard it. I mean, if you've listened to this album, you've definitely heard it. It's a fine cover. I mean, Michael sings incredibly on this song. Like, dude's got pipes, man. I should have included that in my initial thoughts. I knew that Michael was a good singer, but after listening to this whole album, I was like, dang, like, much better than I remembered and expected. But I have a hard time connecting with the song, like, on an emotional level, because, like, Michael at this point is a prepubescent boy. And what does he know about love? What does he know about love? Does any of us know about love? Michael Jackson as a boy just doesn't have that same oomph that the original singer has, because, like, he hasn't suffered any sorrow or loss, or so I assume. I don't know about Michael Jackson's personal life, at least as a kid. So that's all I have to say about that. On to the next song. I Want to Be Where You Are. Dude, they knew what they were doing when they wrote this. Like, you're going to hear me talk about the instrumentals in these songs a lot. And let me tell you, they go hard in the music on all of these songs. Specifically in the instrumentals, the flute. Bro, why don't we have flute in more songs? The flute needs to be in more songs. It's an instrument that's not getting enough credit. It just takes the song to a different place. And I fully enjoyed it the entire time. If there was a song to describe frolicking through clouds in ignorant bliss, this is the song. It's so dreamlike. Like, it is just so, woo, I'm out there. I'm having a good time. And the last thing I would say about I Want to Be Where You Are is it's probably one of my favorites on the album. It's so good. Anyway, we'll continue on to the next song now. Third track on the album is Girl, Don't Take Your Love From Me. Dude, Michael's vocals on this track are incredible. Like, those high notes that he's hitting in that chorus, dang. It's just a great song. I don't have a whole lot more to say about it. In Our Small World. Again, the instrumentals kill it. But I would say that this is probably one of the weaker songs on the album. It's just not very interesting. I just don't vibe with it as much as I do the other songs. That's really about all I got to say about it. All right, now for the title track, Got to Be There. In the show Psych, there's an episode where Sean and Gus are talk show hosts, And if they were to play songs in between the segments when Gus is the talk show host, and if Gus were to play this in between songs, he would probably say something like, "You'll listen to Gusto Radio. Girl, you hear about Pluto?" Overall, it's just a smooth song. Also, the glockenspiel, that's just subtly just in the background. Prime. I love a good glockenspiel, and it is just used to perfection in this. All right, Rockin' Robin. It's a cover of the Bobby Day song of the same name, and it's fine. Honestly, I'm not really wowed by this one either, but it did it. I mean, it's fine. It's not bad. I wouldn't say any of the songs on this album are bad, but it's fine. Probably not my favorite, but it just has this. It has this youthful upbeatness to it that kind of separates it a little bit from the original. But what I will say that differs from the original versus this one is in the original there's a flute solo. I know, the freaking flute, man. You're gonna hear about the flute from me. There's a flute solo in the original song, but in this one they swap it out with a guitar solo. It's just opinion on which one you think is better. I think the flute's better, but I'm also like a guitarist, so like I get it, but I'm also a guitarist, and I've just never been like a solo guitarist, so I don't really have hard opinions on solos. It's an unapologetic pop song that I could see people just enjoying, and they would probably listen to this because they like how like upbeat it is and whatnot, but I'd probably end up skipping it after multiple listens. Sorry, my wife came home in the middle of this. You want to say anything to the camera, the people?
Or are you filming right now?
I am filming right now.
Hello, people.
That's my wife. And we're back. So the next song on this list is Wings of My Love. Not particularly wowed by this one. It's still a great song. It's just not very wow factor. It's a pretty slow and generic song. My top comment on this was, "We are back in the clouds, but they are more somber this time." All right. Next song is Maria. I would say this is probably the weakest song on the album. It is just not my favorite. I would definitely be skipping it most of the time. It's not very interesting. It doesn't grab my attention. It's just whatever. I'm sure there's people out there that enjoy it. I just wasn't one of them. Dude, a gnat just flew in my nose. I don't like that, Rachel.
I'm sorry.
Rachel, make it stop.
I'm sorry. Did it stop?
Yeah, it's gone, I think. For now, at least.
Thank God.
All right, the second to last song on this album is Love Is Here and You're Gone. What is up with this gnat? Get out of here. I don't like you. The last song on this album is Love Is Here and You're Gone. It's a cover of the Supreme song of the same name. It's a fine song. It's not extremely interesting. It's a pretty friendly pop song. And that's about all I got to say about it. And the last song on the album is... I always forget what the actual song is as soon as I look away from the computer. And the last song on the album is You've Got a Friend. It's a cover of a Carole King song of the same name. Of all the covers on this album, I personally think that this is the best one. It's different enough than the original song to kind of mix things up. That's kind of like what I look for in covers, at least, is for it to be at least a little bit different. It doesn't have to be as like uniform as the original, but both are really good. And yeah, that's the end of the album. So my overall thoughts on this album: it's good, fun, inoffensive, jazzy pop music. The listening experience is overall positive. It's a great kickoff into a solo career. Michael is an incredible singer, and I look forward to seeing how his style changes as he gets older and gets more hands-on with the music, because he didn't write any of the songs on this album. A lot of them were written for him or are just covers. This album is heavily covers, as a lot of the songs are from his early years. When I was doing my research, I kind of saw that. was a recurring thing. So it's been fun to kind of compare the two, Michael's version versus the original. On to the next album. This next album is named Ben. I'm sorry. No, he's not. Ben is the name of the album. Ben is the name of the first song. So let's get into it. So this album starts much slower and softer than the other album. Just feels a little bit more intimate, a little bit more lullaby-esque. So when I was doing my research for this album, I learned that this song was his first #1 hit as a solo artist. Now, if you would have told me that after listening to the song, I would not believe you, because I don't know, it's not like incredibly good. It's fine. I mean, it's not like blowing me away. I wouldn't be like, yeah, this song was his very first #1 hit as a solo artist. Yeah, right, dude. So besides all of that, this song was written for the movie of the same name, Ben, and this song is about the main character's pet rat. Well, without doing the research, I wouldn't have known that that was the case. Honestly, like, the lyrics are kind of weird if you don't know that. And even with that knowledge, maybe still a little bit weird. I don't know if the album is named after the movie or not. I should have probably searched that up. I'm going to look that up right now, actually. Computer's here. I'm doing a little Wikipedia deep dive here. It's the theme song for the 1972 film of the same name. Itself is the sequel to the 1971 killer rat film Willard. Okay, it doesn't say why it was named Ben. Because, like, the rest of the songs aren't for the movie. It's just that one. Cool. It does not say, at least on Wikipedia, which we all know how reliable Wikipedia is, it doesn't say anywhere on there why the album is named Ben, if it's for the movie, because none of the rest of the songs are made for the movie. It's just that one song. I don't know. I guess final thoughts on this song is that I guess it's a sweet song written for a boy and his rat. You know, a good friendship between a boy and his pet. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. But I will say that on multiple listens of this album, I'm probably skipping this one. If the album's on repeat, I'm skipping this song because it's kind of slow. It's just not, to me, as interesting as other songs, which still is what blows my mind that it was a #1 hit. Greatest Show on Earth. Now this is a song. You know, of the songs that could have gone #1, why wasn't it this one? This one's so good. It's got a great groove. Michael's singing is incredible, as always. Like, some of the notes that he hits in this song makes me feel like I'm a sprout wings and just go on like a flight journey through the clouds. Like, it is just so magical. A lot of Michael Jackson songs, from what I've heard so far, are very magical. We'll see if that continues on with as he gets older. But all these younger songs, they're very magical, and I just feel like I'm going on this majestic journey, and it's quite a pleasant journey. This song is easily my favorite on the album. All right, we're gonna move on to the next one. People Make the World Go Round. It's fine. It's a cover of a stylistic song from the year prior. It's a fine cover. It doesn't really stray too far away from what was originally written, so it's fine. It's not a bad song. It's just fine. Next song. We're going to kind of speed through some of these just because, I mean, his older stuff when he was younger, they kind of all sound fairly similar for the most part. Like, I have the same opinions on a lot of the songs just because they're all like really groovy and they're Michael Jackson when he was young and he's a really good singer. Like that's about all I can really say about him or if I like them or not. So we're just going to kind of fly through some of these. We've Got a Good Thing Going. Musically, pretty interesting. The drums and the bass are really driving this song, and I'm really liking it. It's very upbeat while maintaining a smoothness to it. The next song is Everybody's Somebody's Fool. Again, drums and bass are stealing the show. And the backup singers with the shoo-wop doo-wops, so good. Dude, I'm such a sucker for that kind of stuff. I love background vocals. I don't have anything else to say about that. I love background vocals. That's about all I have to say. And next, My Girl, written by The Temptations. It's a cover. Not particularly different from the original. It's pretty all right. You've heard it. It's a good one. Cool. What goes around comes around. If glitter had a sound, it would be the background sounds of this song. Just sprinkling them in there. Just really twinkly. Just super nice. I'm loving it. Again, very magical, very playful, very youth-filled. Also the woodwind solo. Girl. We love it. And just like most of these songs, you can't help but smile when you're singing along to it. Like, young Michael Jackson so far can just put a smile on your face through any chorus that he sings. And it's great. It's just very upbeat, happy music, and I love it. In Our Small Way. Why was this one put on both records? The first and the second one. It was easily the weakest one of the first record. So why put it on the second one? It didn't make it any better putting it on the second one as well as the first one. Like, I still liked it just as much, which was, That's all I gotta say about that one. Shooby Dooby Da Day. Originally written by Stevie Wonder. It's a fine cover. It's not my favorite by far. Now, I get why people would like this one, because it is super cheery and super upbeat, but I didn't really care for either version of the song. I didn't care for Stevie Wonder's and I didn't care for Michael Jackson. So either way, it was a lose-lose for me. It's just a little too, I don't know, like the Shooby Dooby Da Day hurts me a little bit on the inside when I hear it. But what I will say is that if I was at the roller rink and this came on and I had my little roller skates on, dude, I'd be dancing. I'd be dancing on that dance floor. Like, even though I don't particularly care for it, it would still be a great time to be skating with my pals, just dancing away to the grooves of young Michael. And the very last song on this album is You Can Cry on My Shoulder. It's a very sweet puppy love song. It's not super compelling to listen to. It's a pretty run-of-the-mill love song. Just very playground vibes. My overall thoughts on this one is this album, maybe not as much fun as the last album. Not to say that it's bad, but it's just not as much of a
Non-stop disco, bet you didn't know, bet you didn't know. Non-stop disco, bet you didn't know, bet you didn't know.
as the last one. The last one, it was just like, it was a constant dance. There was maybe like one song, and we all know which one it is, that I didn't really care for, that I would definitely skip almost every time if I listen to the album on a regular basis. But this album certainly has more of those. It has more skippable songs than the last one. But I will say that the songs that aren't worth skipping are so good. Like, they're just bangers, honestly. Like, I would listen to these on a regular basis, these songs. Overall, I would say that this one less joy-filled than the previous, but still pretty good album. Just maybe not as good as the last one, and maybe not my favorite. Next album. Music Andy, Music Andy, Album number 3, the third album, Music and Me, 1973. That's when it came out. This is the album we're talking about. First song, What's a Child's Heart? This song was originally written and performed by Stevie Wonder. It honestly has a very different vibe than the original song. Not necessarily a bad thing. I think it's actually a pretty good thing. I prefer Michael's version over Stevie's version. Also, to start the album with this song, there's already a sense of like maturity as opposed to the other songs. And I know that he is a little bit older in this one, but the sound itself is just more mature. Overall, this song is very relaxed and full of warm tones. Like, I feel like I should be wrapped up in a blanket next to a fire with a nice hot cup of cocoa, just drinking it up. Warm. Also, Michael's soaring vocals mixed with the background singers just makes me feel like everything's gonna be okay. Like, no matter what's happening right now, it's okay. Song number 2, Up Again. I really like the bounciness of this one. It's just really like, know what I mean? This song kind of continues on with the dreamscapes of the previous 2 albums, but I can tell that the dreamscape has changed. It's not as like youthful bliss as it is more of like a mature dream. The dream has changed in ways, or it could also almost be considered as an unadventured forest that is almost like scary or creepy. Not necessarily a bad thing. That's just kind of the feel of the sounds. Also, this is a very different type of chorus for a song that we've heard from Michael so far. It's much more staccato, and I don't know, it's just very different. All right, song number 3, All the Things That You Are. This song was originally written for the 1939 play Very Warm for May, which is one of 2 songs on this album that are from plays. It's honestly kind of hard to critique the songs that are from plays, because, I mean, outside of, like, Michael's performance, there's not really a whole lot that I can say about it. Because, I mean, like, they're written for plays. I don't know, they have different vibes than what an album may have. That being said, I do love plays. Plays are wonderful. I love the theater. Love watching me a good musical. Also, the instrumentals after the first chorus of this song make me feel like I should be gallivanting / frolicking through like a meadow of flowers. It feels so nice. All right, the 4th song on the album, Happy. Originally a Bobby Darin song, which Michael has stated that it was one of his favorites to perform. It's not incredibly different from the original. Michael performs it well. It's a good song, just maybe not my favorite. All right, song number 5, Too Young. Originally a Nat King Cole song. I honestly prefer Nat's version over Michael's. I think Nat delivers a much better performance than Michael does. And with the knowledge of knowing that there are a couple songs that are written for plays on this album, this song not being one of those songs that was written for a play honestly kind of surprises me, because it has that very theatrical sound to it that you don't really hear from the 2 songs that are from plays. All right, song number 6, Doggin' Around, was originally performed by Jackie Wilson. The original is way better. Like, way better than this one. Like, all the elements that make the original good are kind of lost on this one. It's just a swing and a miss. All right, number 7, Euphoria. It's whatever. It's honestly pretty gimmicky. Spelling Euphoria in the song honestly just doesn't do anything good for the song. And with there being plenty of like dreamlike songs on the previous albums, and it actually having a song called Euphoria, it doesn't really hit the euphoric part of the dreams that are being portrayed. Well, the dreams that are the dreamscapes that are being painted. Morning Glow, the other song that was written for a musical, that musical being the musical Pippin, despite being called Pippin, has nothing to do with Lord of the Rings. So if you were hoping Sorry. It's okay. Maybe not interesting enough of a song to justify covering. All right, song number 8, Johnny Raven. There's just something very lacking in this song. Nothing about it really grabs my attention. Instrumentally, pretty weak, and the chorus just isn't good. And the chorus just might not be as much of an earworm as they had hoped. All right, the last song on the album, Music and Me. After being pretty disappointed with the last 5 songs, this one comes as a breath of fresh air. Kind of. Although I think it's better than the last couple of songs, it still isn't a song that I would find myself coming back to on a regular basis. I find that a song being written about your relationship with music isn't very compelling when you're being so upfront about it. Because there are songs that have been written about music that aren't so blatant about it and still continue to be a good song. For example, Only in Dreams by Weezer is an entire song about music, but you wouldn't necessarily know that. And for the longest time, people didn't know that because the lyrics are kind of cryptic. And I don't know, the mystery of that is kind of fun. You would think that the song was about a girl, but in reality, it was just Rivers Cuomo's struggle with writing music or writing songs. But we're not talking about Weezer here. We're talking about Michael Jackson. So we'll get back on focus here. Back on focus. Back on focus, Rachel. That's what I said. The instrumentals and vocals on this song are performed well. They just fail to grab my attention. All right, so my overall thoughts on this album. Out of all the albums that have been put out by him so far, this one is by far the weakest. And I thought that I was being kind of harsh about it, but when I looked up other reviews on the album, Ron Wynn, a writer on AllMusic, said, "This was Michael Jackson's least successful album during his solo run at Motown. The songs were undistinguished, Jackson's sound tentative and uninteresting vocally, and the production and arrangements were routine at best, sometimes inferior." And I know that future projects of his are what makes him the king of pop, and I'm really looking forward to hearing those. In every artist's discography, there's albums that just don't perform as well as others because they just weren't as good. And, you know, this is just one of those albums. That's okay. I mean, he's got plenty of other albums that were really good, and I look forward to hearing those ones. All right. So originally I was planning on making this video all of the albums all in one, but after 3 albums and the video's this long, I decided I'm going to cut the videos down into more digestible bits. So we're going to get a couple albums, 2 or 3 albums at a time, just to make the watching experience a little better. Ain't that right, Rachel?
You got it.
Do you have anything you want to say to the people?
What's up?
What's up? From my wife. Well, that concludes this video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Peace!
The understanding that there is no they, there's no other. It is all one. And it's really, what happens here is, there are a lot of experiments in psychology with figure ground. That is